we've just had this little intro where Jonni was doing a fundraiser, and we were just about to talk about the reason why Jonni did this. And it was because his mom died when he was 5 from leukemia. He wanted to do a leukemia fundraiser, but there was too many fundraisers about leukemia. So over to you.
Yeah. So can you hear me all right?
Yep. You're definitely on it again now. So
yeah, okay. So I had a choice of doing all sorts of charities and stuff like that. But then I thought I wanted to do somebody who's close to me that will make a difference. And if I could raise money to make a difference that I can see, I know exactly where every cent of the dollar raised could make a difference for one child, I think that would mean more to me. So, which is the reason why I started Run for Miles, and it was obviously very successful, and obviously that you and your family went over to Brisbane. Originally, it was meant to be for the USA, but
that's right,
Brisbane, which was great as well. So, I think during that journey, I realized that that if I did it, if I went for any charity, maybe I was just trying to just grab attention for myself, because I don't care where the money is going to. I'm just telling everybody I'm doing a charity. Anybody can donate to charity, but what difference can it make for anybody that you know? But like, I knew Miles, obviously, like you told me about the situation when he was born and everything like that. And like, I thought to myself, I'd do anything, to make this child's life better. So I thought this was my opportunity, and like, it was very emotional for me as well, and very emotional for you and your wife, and it was very successful, and like, tell me what your thoughts are. I mean, like, tell me how you felt.
Oh, look, I still remember, when you rang me up and you said that you wanted to do a fundraiser to sort of help us to come over to America. And I couldn't believe that anyone would do something like that for us. Like, because it's such a selfless gesture. And again, like, I mean, back then you and I were friends, but after that we were really close friends, because it's such a unique, again, I don't even know if I have words for it, because it's such a, like, I've never had anyone else do something like that, either for me or for my family. Because again, it is something like, it's not even like you're really doing it for us. Like, again, you're doing it for Miles, to help him develop, to help him, again, see, as you mentioned in the video as well, the only people in the world who specializes in this very, very extremely rare syndrome. So again, when we actually ended up going to Brisbane, which was so really, really fortunate, because obviously logistics, having to take 2 kids and a pregnant wife to Maryland would have been extremely difficult at that point in time. So, so the silver lining to the story is they actually ended up coming to Australia for the first time in Brisbane, and that was, turned out to be such a good and a lot easier trip as well. But man, like, I was about to say, but for you to do that is something we'll never forget.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, has Miles, like, from the experience you went to Brisbane, obviously, like, you guys have noticed Miles's development has been exponentially better than what it was before, wasn't it?
Well, the thing is, like, the main thing about going there was simply because we got so much information. So many tools, so much. It was pretty much like, for us, it was like an information overload, because you had all these experts that were, that was looking at him, and, physios and OTs, and like, there's so many different people that specializes in these kids. And they had a whole day where they were just assessing him, and we went to a couple of seminars with them, had some one-on-ones with some of the specialists. So we had all this information that we could then take home and pass on to our doctors, and our doctors, if they wanted to, they could liaise directly with the persons in or the doctors in Maryland, because now he was on file. And for him to be on file, he needs to see the experts. And the only way we could do that again was to either go to Maryland, or luckily enough for them to come to Brisbane, we could go there. But as, like, in regards to his development, obviously goes in his own pace. And so like he couldn't walk back then, but yeah, he started walking as you know, he started walking around Christmas time.
I know Ash's video process, and every time he takes a step, he walks, and it's really good. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So like, it's like a really wow for him as well, to where he was a few years back to where he is now. And he's so tall, man.
Well, he's got a 6'6" dad, so. But look, but how was it for you? Because I mean, obviously you had to do a lot of the running. I remember I actually did some of the longer ones with you, but all the training I think I skipped a lot of that stuff. But all that running, all the running, and you doing all these runs, like how was it for you to sort of have that as a goal at the end?
It was good. I mean, like, I was looking for new challenges in my running, and the reason why I started running back 2.5 years ago is because I couldn't gym anymore. I just was recovering from a shoulder surgery, and I couldn't literally do no exercise for about 3 to 4 months, and it was really depressing. And I woke up on my 30th birthday and decided, okay, I'm 30. I don't know what the hell am I doing in my life at the moment. I'm happy in my career and everything like that, but there's something missing in me. So I put on some shoes and just went half a kilometer run. I was really puffed up, and I went 2 rounds the next day, and it just started from there. And I think we were training for half marathon or something like that for the city to serve. Then I did the thing for miles. I thought, okay, I wanna make this big, you know, and obviously I got IT band problem leading up to the race. That's why you and I did 12K instead of 21K. But I think after that, after I did Miles's thing, I didn't really want to do any other charity, because like I'll only do it if it meant something to me personally, like with Miles. And if I know exactly where the money was going, you know, I've got my own reasons for that, obviously. And with the running thing, like it's got it developed into a very profound impact in how my life works at the moment. I always want to be a sports star when I was a kid, you know. I want to do soccer, I'll be athletics or something like that. But I had a really bad back injury when I was 14. I had a SI joint. It's when your sacrum and your spine connects together on the left-hand side. There was a bit of an issue there. I was cracking all the time. And it was excruciating pain for a 14-year-old kid, right? Whinging by his back. Everybody says, look, just get over it and stuff like that. It was nothing, but it was excruciating pain. And you go to physio. Physios don't know anything about sacroiliac pain because they just don't understand it. And so I sucked it up, let it heal a little bit. You know, it didn't really heal until much, much, much later. I'll get into that story a little bit later about how I got over it. It was quite a freaky story how to go over it, because it had something to do with mental healing as well, which was quite interesting. So anyway, my sports career pretty much got tarnished when I was in high school, and I never really felt right without doing sports. And then running was reignited my fire in me. So it's been 2.5 years now, and I'm running half marathons, and because when you see yourself, when I see myself getting a little bit better, just a little bit better, and it's very slow progressions, it makes me remind me, if I wanted to do anything else and improve in any other aspect of my life, let's say it could be in my career or my relationships, if I just kept putting the work in it, no matter how small or big, eventually the results will start to come. So that's why I can't stop running, because the moment I stop running, it's when I know I've given up on myself. And as long as I can do left, right, I will never stop running, because it would just show that I've stopped something. It stops a reminder for me that I can do anything if I wanted to, if I just put the work in. So that's what running's done for me. Yeah.
But that's only so you've only been running for about 2.5 years. So how come you can do running, but you couldn't do the other sport you did when you were younger?
It was soccer. I used to play a lot of soccer.
Yep.
There was a lot of contact sport as well, and as a result of my back problem, I had other injuries as well. But I also got kicked really bad in my right ankle. My right ankle will literally, it's so wobbly, and if a lot of the twists and turns you need to do in soccer, it's pretty excruciating when you roll the ankle. I probably rolled my ankle probably about 25 times on one ankle in my whole lifetime. And it's gone to a stage where you're so used to the pain, it just feels like another day we roll it again. And it doesn't swell up anymore. So I had to give up contact sport, which is a bit unfortunate. So what you got to do as an Asian kid when you're young? You focus on studies, right? If you can't play sport. And I couldn't study. Yeah, and that's one thing I was not the studying type. And it's very unusual for an Asian kid, because imagine what your parents would say if you don't study. You're like, whoa, you're the black sheep, you know. And I had 4 siblings. You know, there's 5 of us. I had a real brother, a real sister, and my stepbrother and stepsister all did very well at school. You know, they all went to uni and stuff like that. And I was, I would say I was kind of like pushed to go to uni. I did not like uni anything. I honestly could say that I didn't learn very much. I learned where the pub was. I learned how to do my units the most efficient way possible without going to class. I don't know. It was 4 years that I just dragged my feet to do it, but I did it just to get over, to satisfy my parents. And I think, somebody said to me about a few months back, wow, you really craved approval for your dad, do you? And like, actually, I do. Wow. Right. That was massive for me. That was huge. Anyway, that was, education was downpour for me. And trying to find my feet in my career. And like I said, like we met each other at Scott Park Group, and I was a mortgage broker there. And I was so lucky to found a path that I will excel in, because I like working with people. I like talking with people. I like making people laugh. I like getting them to the next step and everything like that. So, which is kind of the trait you need for a mortgage broker. And so it's been in the industry for about 8-9 years now, and I've met great people like yourselves, and like there's a lot of toxic people along the way. Actually, I didn't mention that I tried to get into sports as a career. Actually, after I finished uni, I think I was 21 years old. The first job I got a day after I graduated from uni was actually, I'm not sure if you know, I was a personal trainer. So I worked. Did I ever tell you about that?
Yeah, I think I heard some stories, but only vaguely. So yeah, I'm not sure on all the exact details and how buffed you were, man. But
I wasn't buff at all. I was a personal trainer for almost 3 years. I worked at Fitness First as a personal trainer. That's when I learned about how to start a business and stuff like that. And I made some great people. It was when I started feeling self-confident of myself, talking to people, and because you had to project your voice and at times stand your ground, because you are working in an environment with lots of roid heads at the same time, and you are dealing with all sorts of people. Especially there was groups of mums, and there was groups of kids and stuff like that. And some of the staff that I used to work with, some were great, but there was some very toxic people that were working there. I didn't realize how bad it was until recently, because the thing is, when we have an industry that's unregulated, people will do anything to get $1 out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like as you know, in building, a lot of people were like that as well, just to get any dollar out of you. And I remember my personal training manager at that time, she left. I think she left her husband to be with this other guy, and he was a wealth trainer or something like that. And they got into this wealth scheme thing. And what she was getting some of these personal trainers to do was she was trying to get everybody to sign up to this program called the 21st Century Wealth Group or something like that. And it was like a $3,000 a pop. So you think, oh, we're going to teach you all these methods to be rich and everything like that. You know where this story is going, right? Obviously. And we all went there and we did the courses and stuff like that. And then after that, I said, okay, now we're going to sell you strategies. You need to pay another $5,000 for each strategy. I was like, jeez, man, you just took $3,000 out of us. You want to take another $5,000 to teach us something else? What else? What else do you want out of us? So anyway, went down that road, paid $5,000 for a strategy, and
oh no,
there was seriously no value in it. It was so bad. But you know why? You know what I learned? No mistake is worth it unless you learn from it. But
of course, yeah.
And judging by what they were doing to hard sell me and what my personal training manager was trying to get me in, because I found out that she got a commission from referring us, and fair enough, people need to make money, but I think it was my dad who taught me. My dad was a lawyer, and he did settlements, and like obviously did your settlement once upon a time. I remember that I was asking him that, Dad, like, you ever, get referral fees or anything like that? He said, no, never did. I don't work like that. I don't like working that way. It's because people use me because they want to use me. If you get monetary reasons complicated in it, it complicates the relationship. And I had a deep think to myself, and I thought, yeah, you're actually right. And that's why, judging from my experiences, people getting referral fees here and there, and what my dad told me had a really profound effect, because you know what I mean, I don't take referral fees. I think I've told you that. And when I tell other brokers that, they're like, what, really? It just complicates the relationship. And I'm so glad I've never taken a referral fee. Anyway, back to the story when I was in personal training. It was a time where it was like my journey told me that you need to be in this industry to learn about people. Yes, you're here to learn about health and to train yourself and your body and everything, but you need to learn how to detect people's bullshit. And it was so true, because it was an $8,000 mistake, but it was $8,000 well spent.
I suppose that's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I never look back. I mean, my wife would say, we should make very, very clear and concise decisions so we don't make mistakes. But I keep telling her, sometimes you need to make a mistake every now and then to learn from it. Otherwise, you don't appreciate the journey. But when I was in personal training, it was about the second or third year, like the second year, that I realized, okay, this career is not for me. I think I want to get into finance because I need to learn about the real words about finance anyway, so I need to get into that. So my best friend got me into mortgage broking, and it's another world of toxic people at the very start, because like it was people trying to drag you down, bullying and everything like that at the start. But then if you stick to it and you stick to your ethics and do the right thing by people, you actually go quite a far way. So yeah, like it's so sad seeing people do what they do just to get a dollar. People who use other people and not care about the repercussions after. I find that these days it's better now, because people in social media are being aware about these things that are happening. Yeah, but I don't know, there's still a lot of vulnerable people out there, especially young people who believe anything people say. You know what I mean? So,
I suppose again, it comes down to if you can actually look yourself in the eyes. Like if you can look yourself in the mirror in the morning and saying that, you know, when you get out of bed, are you being kind? Are you being, have you got empathy, compassion for other people when you go to work? Or if you're going to be one of the other cowboys, because like you said, there's so many of them out there. So it just comes down to, again, if you can look yourself in the eyes and do what you're doing. So what you're saying before about, you know, not taking any referral fees or you know, having your dad as your role model in your industry is something that's, I think, a lot of people out there in all kinds of different industries could learn from or should learn from. Because again, it's if you don't have the right values and also now, you know, as a parent, you know, if you can't teach your kids those values just like your dad taught you, that is everything. And that is, again, that is especially in this day and age where everybody's so disconnected, you know, where because of the whole coronavirus stuff. It's something where we just need to you know, like you need to be better at communicating that clear signal without having any monetary underlying issues, like that scammer woman you were talking about before.
And you know what's funny is that you know, you kind of look on Facebook to see where people are at the moment, right? And she's not doing personal training anymore. She actually went back to uni to be a teacher. So,
right.
Yeah. So people who do the wrong thing, I think karma will always get people in one way, shape, or form.
Yep, I believe in that too.
Yep. No matter how long it takes, it will get people. And like that's why taking revenge is actually a very, very bad thing. If you think about revenge all the time or acting on revenge, it's just going to put back on you because you're just being worse than the person who did wrong to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're being just as bad, like, because you're deliberately doing something to cause either, you know, pain or harm, or whether it's emotional or physically to another person. You're doing that deliberately. So that's, again, it's not good.
Yeah, definitely that. And I remember, like, talk about this subject here. Racism, you know, is a very big subject in the world at the moment, right? A lot of people say that you know, there's not much racism going around us. Let's be honest here. There is a degree of racism that exists around the world, in Australia as well, believe it or not. But the culture that we have here is a lot different than it is in America. I remember when I was whether it was in personal training and when I started mortgage broking, man, there was racism that existed, but I think it was a bit more blunt the younger I was. I think in high school it was a bit more obvious because people call me all sorts of names and stuff like that. And it was things that were kind of uncalled for and stuff like that. But the stuff that, you know, they will only say to you if they know they can get away with it, which is a bit of a cowardly thing. And I wouldn't say what they said because they're pretty damn crude to say on live over here. And when I was in personal training, I was, I think, I was one of the only very few Asian trainers there. And be honest, right, there were people who looked down on you, and there were actually people who would say to me and say, "I don't know what you're doing this year. You're really out of place," you know. And you know, these things get you when you're young. They do get you. You know, I'm not gonna lie. You know, obviously you put a strong face and all that, but they do get you to a certain amount of time. But then I watched this movie. You know, have you seen? Are you a fan of Bill Murray? You like Bill Murray?
Oh, it's not that I like him or don't like him. Like I've seen a few of his movies, but I wouldn't sort of say I'm a super fan or anything. But
okay. Great movie. Anybody watch this or wants to know about life? What's that one he went to Japan with Scarlett Johansson? I really forgot what the name was. It was the.
I've seen Groundhog Day and Ghostbusters. I think they're the ones that comes to mind.
Okay.
That's all right.
It was okay. Lost in Translation. Right, that's the name of the movie. So it's a movie
right. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big star. He goes to Japan, and he goes, to do some ads. That he meets this girl, and she's, Scarlett Johansson, and they formed this very special relationship between the two of them. And they were lying in bed, and she's much younger than him, much younger. And it's like someone young asking someone who's been around the world, and she asked, does things get easier? Obviously we go through hardships in life and stuff like that. And he said one thing that had a really profound effect on me. He said, the more you know what you want in life, the less you let things bother you. So I had a massive thing about that.
That's a really good quote, actually.
It hit me so hard because when the older I got, I just know exactly, the more I knew what I wanted, and the more like my parents I became, the more like my dad I became. I realized why he was so protective over his kids. I knew why he wanted us to take the safe route. I knew why he didn't want me to excel too far in sports, because how he knew I would get hurt and stuff like that. I knew what I wanted. I wanted, obviously, to come to a stage where I could support a family like yourself. I know that I couldn't dick around anymore in the fitness industry or in uni. I needed to get somewhere that I could go fast. So that's what I did. I went to finance broking. I was very lost for the first 2 years, until after that things started becoming good. My knowledge was a bit better. I was communicating to clients a lot more clearer as well. And I knew what my end result was, and I remember in my first or second year, I had this very experienced broker say to me, because I didn't wear a tie to the office one upon a time, right? And it wasn't much of a big deal. And he said to me, "Where's your tie, Johnny?" I'm thinking, I'm not wearing it today. It was like, well, you should wear a tie because you're representing the brand. It's like, well, such and such are not wearing a tie, such and such not wearing a tie. Why should I wear a tie? What the hell are you doing? You don't know what you're doing, aren't you? He calls me a piece of shit and everything like that. It's like, yeah, dude, uncalled for. Things like that get you. And
but
I look back. Yeah, I look back and I'm thinking, is he just saying that is because he knows he can pick on me? To be honest, I think he did. Like, did not benefit anybody whatsoever trying to pick on someone who didn't wear a tie. To this day, I still don't wear a tie to work because, I don't think it's necessary to wear a tie. And I don't think a client expects me to wear a tie, do they? Haven't had any clients say that to me before, but anyway, it was, every journey, as you know, is hard, and it's heartbreaking to a point. But every heartbreaking moment, and I remember, like when what that guy said to me, and a couple of things happened at work that really got me down. I think I wasn't really going to the gym. I think I just had broken up with my girlfriend at that time, and there was a lot of things really overwhelming me at the same time. And my parents moved away from Perth to go live in UK. I was alone, and I was it was hard times. And like I remember I was crawled up in my bed, and I just stayed there. I think I was at a state of, I wouldn't say depression, but like I think that was my lowest point, being lonely, not knowing where I was going in my career. And that's why I started taking things step by step. I remember that quote from Bill Murray, look, you know where you want to get, you know what you want, right? Focus on that, and the less you let things bother you. And I just kept going, put my head down, did the work day after day. And after some time, a few months, and I think I was flying, And when you're doing well, another thing that brings you down that I find, as you may have experienced as well, is jealousy. people who are jealous, oh man, no, one thing I've realized is that jealous people can be very cruel. They can be so cruel to the point where they will bring you down. They will hurt you. They will make you stay there if they can. But it's something, it is another phase that you need to be very thick-skinned for as well. You need to face people's jealousy and maybe turn them around. Because if you fight people who are jealous, they're just going to come back to you, because like a lot of jealous people are so immature, right? They will always go for the win-lose situation. But as a person that if you know what your goal is and you know what you need to do to overcome obstacles, you just need to turn to win-win. So if someone says to you, look, why are you doing this this way? You could be doing it that way. It's like, well, I reckon because the customer says this, in their justification, I reckon they will suit it in this sort of structure and everything, but kind of turn it in such a way that you're doing it good for the client, and also you're trying to be a friend to the person as well. I find that that's probably the best way to go ahead of things. Like, rather than make an enemy, why not just try to make a friend? If it doesn't work, then, that person's lost cause. You've tried the best, you try to be the better person. So anyway.
So did you stay with that company? So when you mentioned you had your head up high and you just kept marching through it. Was that with the same company and the same bully you had before?
It was. Actually, this was the company before I came to work with you at the Scott Park Group. Yeah. So that was another story, as you have noticed. That was actually a great experience, actually. So there were certain aspects of the thing that I don't think I should really discuss, because I don't think I'm in a legal standpoint to discuss what happened in there, but I will discuss a few things of how I was treated that led me to leave. And it was really sad, because in that company I really loved the culture and everything that could have been. I've met people like you, I met other people, other reps and stuff. It was great. It was actually really good fun. And in the office, at one-on-one, there was, I really enjoyed with, coming into the office and seeing all the people in the morning. They say hi, go downstairs, great coffee machine, great place to eat lunch and stuff like that. But the thing that drove me out was that, I said, if a jealous person, can't take you after you try to be a friend with them, you just have to leave in a place where that's actually going to potentially be very toxic for you. And it was really sad, because I was really sad to leave a bunch of great guys like you when you were there. And I look back in that experiences because it made me realize what kind of boss I would really like to have, what kind of person I would really like to look up to. Because when you're young and you're vulnerable, you want to look at you look at the people who talk very well, who can sell very well, but those are not the real role models. And the real role models that I realized that I really wanted to have are people who are genuine, who do the right thing by other people, who take you a long way. Because if you try to make the quick buck, like the saying goes, it's like taking sugar. The faster you go up, the faster you're going to crash. So I much rather, grow steadily as well, which, currently at my current company, Wealth Plus, got a great boss, great bunch of people we're working with. Been there for, I think this is my 6th or 7th year now. Actually a really, really long time. And obviously I met huge networks there, met massive networks from people like you as well. And you just, nurture them and get to know their networks. And one thing I learned while being a Wealth Plus is, when you meet a client, you shouldn't treat a client like a transaction. You should treat a client like your friend. You nurture, and then after that, you see not just one client, you see an array of clients. That could be spawned from that. You don't expect it, but if they come, then you've done something right. I mean, that's how I've got to know a Nepalese community, a Colombian community. There's an Indian community as well, and a lot of people who I went to uni with, that I helped do loans, and those are the biggest compliments, And a lot of people ask me, hey, if I refer you to somebody, would you be happy to pay me a referral fee? And I said, yes, I am. But if you offer me anything, I won't take it. And they're like, what? So you're happy with me to pay me something, but you won't be happy if I pay you something? That's completely right. And 95% of the time, they'll result there with them saying, you know what, referral fee, just forget it. Don't worry about it. It's really funny that way, isn't it? So,
it is, but that again comes down to your values and ethics. So that again, for you to sort of portray that to people, it makes it really difficult for someone to then say, "Nah, I still want your money." So yes, yeah. So based on that story, because that's obviously a long journey, from when you first had your little bully experience with the Thai guy. So when you're looking at that up till now, like, do you reckon, have you achieved your dream? Have you achieved that stuff that, when you were crumbled up in bed and saying, nah, fuck it, I gotta march on. I know what I want. I'm just gonna go get it. Is this what you want? Have you gotten there yet?
I'm glad you asked that, because people talk about dreams, what they want to achieve. When I was those days, when I first started my career, what I thought was success to me? Success was, I quote, right, was I am in a tall building, I'm drinking a Scotch glass, I'm staying in some penthouse and whatnot, I'm earning millions and stuff like that, and this to me is happiness. That's what I thought was happiness. But then as time went by, I started to realize, wow, penthouses are extremely expensive, and you have to pay extreme amounts of money to afford one of those. Number two, I don't like drinking Scotch. Because we live in an apartment, you have to pay strata fees. Strata fees are extremely expensive, man. Jesus. And I think I realized I didn't know what my dream was, As time went by, I realized, okay, I like simple things. I like my own time. I like spending time at home. I like spending time with actually my wife's family. I'm actually always pushing my wife, hey, let's go see your parents. I haven't seen them for a while. Let's go bring Chloe, the puppy. They really love seeing her. And I go see them. They speak Cantonese, but my Cantonese is shocking. But I still sit down and have a chat with them, just have a laugh. It's like the communication is really funny. They know what I'm saying. I know what they're saying. And the mom laughs at me. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter. And we have this great relationship. It's very rare to have this relationship with your in-laws. But
that's great.
And I like having those conversations with my wife when I come home. And we just have little dabs at each other and say, hey, babe, you put the kettle on again, but you didn't use it. You left a lot of cups around the house, and I like throwing those little darts at her, and she laughs, and she throws little darts at me unsuccessfully. I love coming home to my puppy, and she's my little daughter, and I love her to bits. And the dog coming into our life had a massive impact on that. I was doing a lot of posts on social media once upon a time, and I stopped all that once I got the dog, is because I was spending so much time on social media, and I thought, okay, if I post a lot to get a lot of attention from people, I thought I'd be happy, but I realized I wasn't really being happy. I was doing it because it was a habit. It was when I got my puppy and my puppy made me sit down and give her a lot of love and kissing her and giving her a lot of treats. It was so much love giving. And my wife never liked dogs, but when she met Chloe, she totally changed. It was like total transformation. And to see my wife going, oh, Chloe Bear, it's so sweet. And my in-laws, and they've never had a dog before, and they treat her like gold, you know. They love her to bits. And my two douchebags, I should say douchebag, my two sister-in-laws, they're great, by the way. They love Chloe to bits, and just having that impact on the family by bringing in a dog to the family, that to me is true happiness, you know. That if you ask me what's my dream life, you know, I'm living the dream. I'm doing it's the smallest things that make me really happy that has the biggest impact. Funny, yesterday. That's
great, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Like yesterday, I was, you know, just going on my day, and all of a sudden, right, I had about $1,100 taken out from my credit card. I'm thinking, where the hell is this $1,100 coming from? You know, I check my credit cards all the time. I don't like people scamming me. And it was from a hosting company that I got a domain from about 3 years back. They renewed it, and because of exchange rate and everything from America, they took money out from $800. But because after exchange rate became $1,100, I'm like, whoa, shit! You took money out of me. I worked hard for this money, dude. Like, then I got really stressed out, and I told Amy about it, my wife, and she absolutely ballistic at me, right? You know, as wives do. And I was like, oh, shit, an American company, maybe they're really broke right now. What are the chances of that not giving back my money, right? And I had to ring them, but I couldn't ring them until 8 p.m. last night. And I was thinking, okay, I put my alarm on for 2 minutes to 8 o'clock. And I rang at 8 o'clock, and I said, hey, man, have to be very calm, because I know what people on the telephone are like. Look, I didn't, yada, yada, yada. Look, I would like a refund. Sure, I'll give you a refund. Wow, that relief was huge. I told my wife, I was so happy. And then the rest of the day, I was overjoyed. I was like, the small things like this really make me happy, you know? Like, I got my money back, and like, I said, okay, cool. And I told my wife, let's go have some ice cream. We're having a laugh and everything like that. So like, this morning I was still getting a big buzz, but you know, I got my money back, you know, I'm so happy. You know? So yeah, I am kind of living a dream at the moment. You know, I'm running, I'm doing my sports. I call my dad, you know, have a bit of a dig at my dad and say, hey, you know, weather's great here today. You know, how's it like in the UK? Every day shit in the UK, by the way, in terms of the weather. And we have this great relationship, me and my dad, and he's a bit of a hippie, you know, have a guy. He likes to drink and he likes telling jokes. Mum as well, my stepmom, she's great. It was tough at the very start, but then over the last few years, it's been absolutely fantastic. I think along the way, as long as I keep the peace and try to make it very hard for all my family to be really tight knit, then I know everything's okay. So, like, when I finally have kids, oh God, my whole life's going to change, obviously.
Oh, yes.
I think, yeah, I know. I think, yeah, I don't know what to expect. That's going to be a huge challenge for me. Like, Chloe was brought so much love to us, you know. I'm just hoping that the kid would do the same as well, you know what I mean?
Oh, I'm sure it will. I think that's a given. But yeah, you're 100% right. Like, you have no clue what's sort of gonna hit you when you become a parent. But I suppose it's like having a puppy, but you know, tenfold, 100-fold. But look, in regards to, I'd like to go back a little bit and touch base on again, when you're talking about sort of, you know, the mindset of success that you were talking about a little bit earlier. So like, you're obviously quite successful in what you do. You're very well liked broker from clients and your peers. Where, like, how can you go further from where you are currently if you are looking sort of to pursue that career path?
Well, some people might view me as successful. Some people might not view me as successful. You know,
I'm talking about yourself. I'm talking about you. Like, how can you excel?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but you're only as successful as you make yourself up to be. And my definition of success is different to others. So for me to excel, to go to the next step, I think everything else has to go up at the same time. So I think my running has to go up at the same time with my success in my career at the moment. So at the moment, I'm a partner at my finance firm at the moment, which I'm really happy at. And doing what I do day in, day out, meeting people face to face and meeting their friends and families as well is what I would like to maintain. To be honest, if you gave me all the money in the world in my bank account, I don't have to worry about a single cent. I will still go out and still see clients a couple of times a week and try to make things work because I like the work more than I do the money. You know? I really, really genuinely enjoy dealing with people and making things work. It's funny that you asked me this question now. Last week, I was dealing with 2 different applications where it's taken me a long time to get approved. One is applications which has taken me 18 months and multiple tries, right, to get approved. And we finally got it approved during our coronavirus pandemic period as well. And obviously can't give too much details about this one. And the previous lender that was mucking around with this, they was just changing the goalposts for me all the time. This new lender, I had to research hard to make it work, and it took a long time to get approved. It took about almost 2.5 months to get this loan approved within this bank, and it was very satisfying. I think, and the great thing about the client, a lot of clients wouldn't have the patience to stick with me for that long, right? Especially unsuccessfully as well, but they stuck with me, and it was like, wow, I owed it to them. The fact that after the second try it failed, right, and they still stuck with me, And to be honest, right, if I had all the money in the world, I'll do something like this for free. I like that satisfaction for me to get it through and to go on a call with them and guide them through the process, how it works. It was so, I don't know, like it was things I thought I've seen it all, but after I got this deal through, I didn't think, because I asked the bank, look, can we look at this because this situation is a bit complicated? And they was like, yeah, sure, we can look at it this way. And I was like, whoa, okay, I didn't expect that. Just listen to clients tell me about how much they appreciated my help was massive. But I think what I will tell them is like, look, you stuck by me for so long. I need to thank you for the opportunity. Because I don't think I've got that patience to stick with somebody for that long. And there's another one as well that took me about 8 months to get done after multiple tries to get what she wanted. But we got there at the end, and that was very satisfying as well. And I think she did mention that you went above and beyond. But I think you went above and beyond by sticking by me.
Yeah.
So you can see that for me, success to me is job satisfaction.
Right.
How satisfied I am in my job, because the more you want in life, the more you have, the more you need to get in your life to support your wants. It's like getting multiple car loans, and if you're going to get like multiple car loans or multiple house loans, you're going to need to work long hours or get massive incomes, and that income could, it's not going to stay like that forever, right? In most cases, in some cases, like in this pandemic right here, it will just drop. Because you never know what's going to happen in life. Like I said about your wants, like I keep myself very simple, is because I don't, like, if shit does hit the fan or anything like that, I'm not losing very much, so I'm happy with just for many years now. I think it was about 3-4 years since the last time I've been to a nightclub. I don't have any joy going to nightclubs anymore. I love sleeping at 9-10 o'clock every night, before, and the next morning I go to run. And my wife follows me, obviously, she sleeps earlier now. Waking up, going from after my run, going to work a long day, coming home, seeing my wife and my puppy, and sometimes see my in-laws as well, or go on the phone to my dad or mom, speaking to my siblings on the phone, keeping in touch. People really matter to me, especially on some of the chats I have with my friends and see what they're up to. If I could live day in, day out like that, I'm a very happy man. Some people want to say, I want to upgrade to a much bigger house, but I want it now. They think they can, they think that's going to bring them happiness. But if they really dig deep, where's that need coming from?
Yeah.
So a lot of people can't answer that. Like, what's a bigger house how is it going to bring you more happiness? And a lot of people can't answer that, or some people don't want to answer that, is because they don't want to dig down inside their insecurities. So if someone wanted to build, let's say for example, someone to build a much bigger house because they want to upgrade, just because they want to show their family or friends that they've successful, but then they have this big debt behind them. That's not a right reason, really. I mean, I know I'm judging here or whatnot, but is that a real, genuine? Is that really going to make you happy? That person has created a problem for themselves by letting other people's judgments get to them, but they're not really looking at what makes them happy. I mean, I'm happy to staying where I am right now for forever and ever. My wife, maybe she wants to upgrade somewhere else, maybe just to put our kids to a better school one day and stuff. That one I can justify, but with some people who want to have a much nicer car or a jet ski, or they want money to blow on, going out and showing off to other people, that's how they want to spend their money, obviously, but if they really ask themselves, what are they really achieving? What really makes them happy? It's the simple things that truly make people happy. And I'm going to stick by that.
Yeah. I think, I think also what the world probably would have seen over the last couple of months is, I think a lot of people would have changed their mindset on what's important. Because all of a sudden you've had all these families, or you like don't necessarily need to have kids, but you've had all these people that have been sitting at home, they can't go to work, they can't see their friends, see their family. So you have to rethink, or you have to sort of recalibrate to reality. Which again is the whole reason why you and I are sitting and talking over a live stream now, because that's how this was conceived. Like sitting at home, being close to your kids, seeing them in a way that you probably would never have that same opportunity again. Hopefully not on the same circumstance. Like quite a few of the other people that I've been speaking to, including Steve Hanley, our mutual friend. Two videos. So again, like he also brought it up, like the fact is you have this super unique time, where you're with your family 24 hours a day, because you can't do anything else. And that again, I think for a lot of people would have given them the opportunity to sort of rethink, take a good look at themselves and said, am I doing the right things for me at the moment? Am I doing everything that I like? Am I following my dreams? I spoke to a guy yesterday who was an actor who literally woke up one day and said, man, I need to follow my dreams. And this, obviously there was no coronavirus at that point in time, but but here it gives you this unprecedented moment to recalibrate your life. And again, I think what I'm trying to say is, as long as you're doing something that you well and truly are passionate about. So if that is talking to people, helping them achieve to get a loan to realize their dream house or dream build or whatever else it is that they need money for. Then again, that's huge. That means that you've found your calling, or you've achieved your dream. I mean, as much as I love designing houses and selling houses to nice people, at the same time, it was just so over consuming, and the financial stress, and I'm definitely guilty of some of the things. I'm definitely guilty of some of the things that you mentioned earlier, about, oh yeah, you need to buy a nicer car. You need to buy things that have zero value to you. But yeah, finding your calling, I think, is something that a lot of people around the world would have had to have a good long think about over the last couple of months.
Yeah, and I think the earlier we realize what the calling is, I think the better off we're going to be. And I think in our journeys, obviously, if you ever encountered bullying, or let's say something's happened to you, or you've had a lot of mishaps, or you're not, you didn't inherit any sort of privilege or anything like that. I find that people who are initially disadvantaged are more advantageous later in life, because they become wiser, and they know what they want in life, and they're the ones who create this thing called grit. Do you know much about grit? There was this podcast which this lady called Angela Lee Duckworth spoke about grit, and it was about people with perseverance, and people who never had the privilege to get the head start in life, such as like a privileged family or anything like that, but they managed to find a way to keep learning and coming back to be better than what they were doing to achieve what they want to achieve. So I think it's like, but I think that's one of the reasons why Game of Thrones was so great. Obviously you're Game of Thrones fans, and everybody's a Game of Thrones fan. You see all these characters in there, and like you ask why is Tyrion Lannister, the dwarf, the most popular character? Well, obviously he has wits, and he had a very smart mouth, but he also was born unprivileged in a privileged family, which is he had I would say the best of both worlds in a way. He was in a very rich family, but it seemed like he was a dwarf. And you remember he said in the first season to Jon Snow in the first episode, all dwarves are bastards in their father's eyes, which is very true. His father didn't like him because his mother died in childbirth, giving birth to him, and that's why his sister and father resented him his whole life. But as you see his journey throughout the seasons, people look down on him, even though he saved the whole kingdom from a attack from Stannis Baratheon, in the second or third season or something like that. They still threw him into a dungeon and still tried to accuse him for things he didn't do, and he had his nose cut or something like that. And people still belittled him, and his father, oh God, what a horrible man. But you could relate to these people. That people love a underdog story. You know what I mean? So people who are underdog, there's people like Nick. I forgot his surname. The guy with no limbs. Australian guy. I forgot what his surname was. It's Eastern European surname. He's a great speaker. Great looking guy. He's got no limbs, he's got no arms, no legs, going around the world doing talks, and got a beautiful wife, got kids as well, going around doing talks to people and just to inspire people about life. If someone like him can be so happy, he's got no limbs, no arms, no legs, right? And he has the choice to be happy, to inspire people around the world. Sorry, I lost my. But you're right. Like usually when you either lose a limb or you lose in like one of your senses or something like that, like you overcompensate somewhere else. Like your other senses take over. So I don't know if overcompensate is the right word, but yeah, you find a way to make up for that part that you've lost.
And the thing is, like, at the end of the day, if you lose your legs, or you lose your arms, or you use like your sight or your hearing, you at the end of the day, you have two options. You can either move on and make the most of it, or you can be bitter for the rest of your life. And if you choose the former, chances are you're probably gonna be happier than you were before, because you're gonna start appreciating so many other things that you didn't appreciate it prior to the potential accident happening. Again, it's very similar. Again, as you mentioned, having a dwarf kid, or in our case, having a special needs son. It makes you appreciate so many other things that other people take for granted. For instance, like Miles was 4.5 when he started walking. That again is something most kids do when they're 1 or earlier, when they're like 10 or 11 months. But when he started walking at 4.5, like you're so happy, because that was just normal there. But for people as well, it's in general, or it could be yourself, how you persevered through the tough times when you got bullied for not wearing a tie. Like, you can either let it affect you and go home and cry yourself to sleep, or you can march on and say, fuck, I know exactly what I want. As you were saying, the less, the more you know what you want, the less you're going to let other people affect you. Yeah. It's a killer quote. I love that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that movie by translation. I think it's on Netflix.
Right.
Yeah, it's lost in translation. Yeah. I was gonna say there was I mentioned to you at the beginning that I had this problem with my back, right? The SI joint problem I had that ruined pretty much my sports career when I was in high school. Do you remember I mentioned that?
Yeah, you did. Yep.
I want to talk about that a little bit, because everything you go through, any aspect in life is a bit of a journey itself, right? And obviously my sports career having a bit of a halt. And it was maybe about 2-3 years ago. I always had this niggle. I could always crack it whenever I wanted to. It's like a niggle in a knee or an ankle or something like that. Yeah, it is in your back as well. And imagine having that bone, that joint in between your sacrum and your spine, just cracking all the time. It's very unstable, right? And I've had doctors, physios, and stuff that look at it. And as far as I know and understand, I studied holistic health. I did this course of NLP when I was 21, 22 or something like that. And people drip drab what the problem initially was, because I don't remember getting any trauma on it or getting kicked or anything on it, right? But I remember a couple of people say that this gets a bit freaky, because if you have problems on your left side of your body, you have issues with the female part of your family. Thinking, what? Are you serious? No. What? Are you kidding me? Are you thinking, this is freaky shit, right? This is getting really freaky shit. And the more I read about it, it's like, okay, in holistic health, like, obviously yin and yang, the left is female, right is male, People said if you have migraines on your right-hand side, maybe you have a problem with a male side of family or something like that, or anything like that. But anyway, like, the more I dug into it, the more, I found this healer. I went to a networking group. I used to go to this networking group every second Tuesday for breakfast, and there was a bunch of us. There was a huge group. It peaked up to about 40 people once upon a time. Anyway, there was this healer. I remember his name is Johan. I still speak to him today, actually. And doesn't really look like a shaman or anything like that, but like you meet this guy, you're pretty intrigued. It's like, oh, what does this guy know? He seems to talk about life. He's very passionate about it and everything like that. So at first glance, I thought, okay, I'm not sure if I believe what he says. You're a bit weary, And it took me maybe about 1.5 years before I decided I'm going to come with you and do a session to see what you're all about. And he did he asked me a few questions, and during that session, I was very open about my childhood. Obviously, my mother dying, my dad, like my relationship with people, and he pointed out one thing. I was really freaked out. See, I reckon the problem in your back, right, started when you're 14 years old is because you have an unresolved problem in your female side of your family. I'm thinking, okay, where's this coming from? And he said, from what you told me, I reckon you haven't, when your mother died when you were 4 to 5 years old, you never said a proper goodbye to her. Think, what? You kidding me? Because I remember when my mother was dying in a bed and stuff like that. I remember in the funeral, I never cried because I didn't want death words. I didn't understand it. And he said I never really healed from or never said goodbye to my mother. I'm thinking, oh man, really? I just couldn't believe it. And he did this this timeline therapy thing. He got me to go back to the moment when I was a little boy when my mother was dying, and at the funeral, and when I was playing around, I didn't understand my death words. And he got me back to that little boy at that point, and to go up to my mother and say goodbye. And I said my goodbye. I went along with it, and it was very hard to do because I'm thinking, I never had to do it, but I'm going to do it now. Okay, I did it. And after that session, I felt really weird and says, look, give it a couple of weeks and see how you feel. And a couple of weeks later, I don't know how, my sacroiliac joint was fused up. I never had any problem ever again.
What?
No, I'm not kidding. I am not kidding you. I am not kidding you. I've had this problem when I was 14 years old on the left side of my body, sacroiliac joint. This guy managed to find out that it was because I never said a proper goodbye to my mother. When I resolved that and I said a proper goodbye to my mother, that was, it fused up, and I never had a problem with my back ever again. And because of that, I was able to run much better. And it was, I think, the last time I felt good about myself when I was playing soccer or any sports was when I was 12 years old, when I was scoring goals for soccer and stuff like that. I was feeling great. I was feeling top of the world. And I've trained already for 2.5 years. And it was about 3 weeks ago that I did a virtual time trial, and I did a 10K in under 40 minutes. And that was a wow factor for me. I haven't felt that satisfied in doing anything in sport ever since I was 12 years old. So when I was 12 years old, I felt that, 2 years later, that's when the problem happened with my back, right? And then after that, right now, I started running 2.5 years ago, and I felt great again after that race about 2 weeks ago. It was as if I am continuing where I left off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So right now, I feel like I'm 14, 15 years old right now, where I should have left off as if I wasn't injured when I was 14 years old. It's a crazy journey that I was meant to be like doing something in sports. I revisited it, but it took a shoulder surgery to go back into sports, to go back into my running again. But however, before I got back into my running, something in my life told me you need to get your life sorted, finances, your career sorted, and then you can go back to your childhood dreams. You know. And your
childhood dreams. Was that being a soccer player or?
Doing anything in sports. I didn't care what I was doing in athletics or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so funny how, like, you know, you're meant to go up here. You're meant to go up here, and all of a sudden you went up here. Something happened. No, you're not ready for that yet, because life is going to teach you another lesson before you get up here. And it's good because you know sports stars in the moment. Like when they get up to a certain level, money comes in, they get overwhelmed. People trying to get toxic people, like people want to get money from you. Like they want to, they think you're the next big thing, and the moment you're nothing, they'll just dump you. So at least I know what I've learned now. I've met toxic people. I know what I can pretty much tell bullshit from a distance away, and I know the type of people I want in my life. I love people like you in my life because you're a family man. You're genuine. The people who you referred me to do finance for, they love you to bits, Stefan. I mean, they can't speak highly enough of you. People in my office love you. My receptionist says, that Stefan, he's a beautiful man. And I said, I know, he's a big man too. Yeah.
There's a lot of me, yeah, that's...
Yeah. Well,
that's
anyway,
good. That's good to know, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like I was meant to, I thought I lost my journey to do something in sports, but now I found a sport that I can still go well late in my 30s and my 40s and stuff like that. And yeah, it's funny how things work out and how unjumbled they are. They're not as linear as people would expect them to be.
Yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit more about the running and sort of the mindset behind it, because obviously most of the people that I've been talking to prior, when I've been doing the other shows, is usually people either in music or the entertainment industry in general. And they obviously have a mindset, about trying to progress their career. Yeah. So, and whether that's, setting, small goals in order to achieve bigger goals, which is very similar to running, the mindset are like you mentioned just before, like you just broke the 40-minute barrier for your 10K run. So how do you approach and how do you discipline yourself going into running for the running goals that you'd like to achieve? Because I think you told me you wanted to break, was it 2:45 on a marathon or something like that?
Yeah. I'll tell you the truth. Okay.
Tell me the truth.
Okay. This is for anybody out here who wants to do something. If you want to do something, make sure it's crazy. Your goal is crazy enough for you to start on, but crazy but realistic enough at the same time. So obviously, marathons is what I want to excel in. Okay, I was born in Malaysia, as some of you may know, and and I like to look at records. And Malaysia is still somewhere very close to my heart. I've got a lot of family there. I was born there. I've got a lot of my deep-rooted personalities within myself comes from Malaysia. I looked at the marathon record for Malaysia. I think it was 2:22, 2:23, and I thought to myself, why not? Why I'm going to make it go crazy enough to beat that, but I'm not just going to beat it. I want to go under 2:20. To do that, I'll probably need to run under 3 minutes 20 seconds per kilometer, which I can't do at the moment for more than 1K. So it's a crazy goal. But I tell you what, it gets me out there. Like for me I told my coach that, and by the way, this is the second coach I've got at the moment, and I love this guy to bits. Tony Smith, this is a shout out for you, and great guy. When I told him this is what I want to achieve, he looked at me and goes, "Yeah, sure, yeah, sure." And you never know about someone unless you get to know the person in a few months, a year's time. And I think over the months that he's been training me, I think he's noticed I've been very compliant in my training. I don't miss days. I don't like to give excuses. I like to learn and get better. And right now, I think I've made massive progress working within the last 6 months. And to get that goal of 220, under 220, my marathon record moment is 3 hours 46. My aim in the next 6 months is to get under 3 hours. And for me, that challenge for me to get that goal,
that's huge, man. That's a massive improvement.
Yeah, but like I said, if you're gonna make a goal, right? But if you make a goal, let's say your dream is to run a marathon under 3 hours. Okay, let's be honest. Some of us, we can probably achieve that in a few years, And there's a lot of people who already can do that. There's a small percentage of runners who do marathon, maybe 1% who can do under 3 hours. But it wasn't enough for me because I wanted to go into a level that's so crazy that you're not even sure that whether you can do it or not, but it's crazy enough for you to try. And if I do make that, I always had this thought that, at the finishing line, my dad would be waiting for me there to congratulate me. Again, I'm looking for my dad's approval. At least I'm honest about that. But it would be the pinnacle of a sports career that I always wanted to have. I always wanted to achieve something so big, so crazy. And I only started running at the age of 30. And that for me, right? If I can do that, if I can inspire people to because 30s is a new 20s these days, and if I know I did it in my 40s, there's a lot of people out there who felt what I felt when I was on my 30th birthday, when I was feeling a little bit down on myself. I don't know why I've achieved the age of 30. To say there is still hope for you to do something. You just had to take the first step. And my first step was my 30th birthday was I put that pair of shoes on and ran around the block for half a kilometer. And if you take that first step and you take the second step, and then you make a goal that's crazy enough, but realistic enough for you to get it, then it's worth trying for. It's so worth trying for. It's to this day, I still don't know whether I can or not, but I'm going to give it my best shot.
But I would love to get sort of like your mindset ideas about, obviously, because you have to fully believe it, which it sounds like you do. But I'm really curious to see how you're going to achieve it, because I remember, a year or two ago when, as you mentioned earlier, when you were really consistent on your sort of social media posting and stuff like that. Like that was something you were so schematic and so organized about it. So you definitely have those the organizatorial skills to do it. So for you to have this passion about running, and to achieve your goals, I've got no doubt you're going to do it, unless you get injured or something unforeseen happens. But so I'm really curious to see how you plan mentally, because I know you get up at freaking 5 a.m. sometimes, and where does that drive come from, and how do you sort of plan that mentally going into to achieving this quite not optimistic but huge goal?
It's become a force of habit now. Every morning I wake up, I know I've got to run. That drive comes from really when I wake up in the morning, I look at my wife, look at my puppy, and I think about my family a lot. I think about what they think of me, and I was kind of the black sheep of my siblings. And I was the only one who really didn't excel in studies, and I wanted to put I really wanted to put away that underdog like myself, like, you think it's 30 years old, never really run before, long distance, can achieve something that so crazy, I wanted to prove people wrong. I like proving people wrong that I can do it. Because it's like Michael Jordan, right? I was watching Last Dance. I'm not sure you've seen The Last Dance. Great show.
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
But I tell you, it's when he said, like, there was one game, right, that he was playing against his up and coming player called Bradford Smith. He got 37 points a game. He got really angry, right? But he made up this thing in his head, right? And in the tunnel, Bradford Smith put his arm around Michael Jordan and said, "Look, good game, Michael," as if he was dissing Michael Jordan, And Michael Jordan came out next game and scored 36 points in the first half. Absolutely, like, obliterated Bradford Smith. But it turns out, right, Michael Jordan made up in his mind that he put his arm around him just to come up with an excuse to fire him up, So the thing is, like, he likes to prove people wrong, even though he's making it up in his head. So for me, I think it was to prove my doubters wrong. I mean, like for me, I had a lot of people who thought that I wasn't tall enough, who wasn't. I had a lot of people call me short in my life, by the way. A lot of girls in the past call me short. I can't be with a guy like you because you're too short. Yeah, it gets you. I get it. I'm short. I'm not very tall, but I'm gonna do the best I can with what I've got.
That's it.
Yep, that's right. I'm under 5'7". I'm not the best looking guy in the world, but I'm very, very happy with the wife I have. She is. People would say that I'm batting above my average, but that I guess I'm the winner. I guess I'm the winner in that one. I like to, is to show people I can do it. I wouldn't say show off, but when I get results every single time, I don't post about it as much anymore. It's because, like, I don't really enjoy the attention as much as I used to. But
why do you think that is? Why do you think that has changed?
It's because, like, I found out what really makes me happy, which is being my wife and staying home with my puppy and speaking to my family and, have a small group of friends, cooking for myself, eating noodles.
That's it.
Because, like, if I'm posting something and I'm putting a lot of deep thought, there's a lot of people around the world that will write comments and things like that. I remember I did a video on about me becoming a mortgage broker, all the ups and downs I went through. It was a long video, and I look back and I was like, wow, man, I put a lot of effort into that.
Yeah, we'll play that at the end.
Yeah,
I've loaded that up to show people as well.
Yeah, and I posted it on the mortgage broker forum, and the messages I got were insane. The private messages I got were insane. And people actually said that, wow, you actually given me hope in my career. I think, wow, okay, that's a good effect. But the amount of effort I had to do to make that, it was a lot of time. But it also would take me a lot of time away from my wife. It would take me a lot of time away from my puppy. And like we're not going to be here forever, My puppy is only going to be living, I'll be honest, for about 14, 17 years. It's a long time. And I've had dogs in my life before. I was very sad that some of them have passed away. I remember when I was 14, 15, there's a dog called Sam. I think the first dog I really, really loved. And I remember we were told he needed to get put down, and I couldn't stand to say goodbye to him. And I remember the night before, I cried myself to sleep. When I woke up, I had an English exam to go, so I thought, okay, I'm going to walk out the front door, catch a bus to school, come back. I don't think I'll say bye to him. And I walked to the front door, and he was waiting for me. He wanted to say goodbye to me, you know. And that was when I knew true love from a dog, you know. And they were like humans too, and that had a really big effect on me. And that's when I know like I was really sad for my dog's death, and I know that Chloe is not going to be here forever, you know, and I want to spend as much time as I can with her. And let's say with kids as well, they're not going to stay kids forever, you know. I want to spend a lot of time with them. And remember you said that you wanted to spend a lot of time with your kids, and you didn't like to work weekends because you want to spend time with them. And I say that all now, because they're not going to stay like that forever. You can't play with that forever, because by the time they turn, you know, 17 or something like that, they don't want to play with you. You know? I mean, not like they want to play with you like that after a certain age anyway. So I,
but now you're right. Like again, it all comes back again to your priorities. And it sounds like, sort of from what you said earlier about your dad as well, that you know you've been brought up with like good like a good role model, like he's taught you good values.
Yeah, I was very lucky.
Yeah,
he taught me that. Yeah. Like people spend so much time out there trying to make money, trying to make more money than what they need. They forget that, you know, you don't need much to be happy, you know. I know a lot of guys who talk about other women, you know, and they have wives and girlfriends and stuff like that. People who I'm not particularly close to, and they still tell me these things. I don't know why. And people will go to, you know, on the weekends, they will leave their wives and girlfriends at home. They'll go out, and they complicate their relationships. And it might be insecurity thing, I'm not sure. And that's why I don't go out anymore, is because I don't want to put myself in a position where you're going to be tempted. You know, people say, well, you should force yourself in that position so you won't get tempted. So, well, isn't it easier not to put yourself in that awkward position in the first place? You know. So, I mean, going back to spending time with people that really matter to me, like I would say in the past, I would say I want to kind of like build myself a very strong financial base first before I start to have kids. But some people, I remember I put down on LinkedIn once upon a time, right? And people were telling me and say, what are you building up for? Why can't you just have kids now? You can always build your wealth later. I'm thinking, well, I've met a lot of people who their whole life has been, you know, run by just kids all the time and stuff like that. But a lot of people are quite stressed about money and stuff that because me being in that position, I've seen a lot of these things, and I don't want to be stressed about money when I'm with a child. I with a child, want to be present with the child, you know. And that to me is really, really important. And some people just don't understand it, you know. And I don't blame them. It's to do what they want to think, I guess.
Is it possible that you could maybe sort of trying to over plan things? So again, obviously you are very organized in your approach to both work and your running. So in regards to maybe starting a family, is it possible that, you know, it might be, you could potentially overcomplicate it by sort of trying to achieve all these certain goals that you need to do before having kids?
To be honest, I've had the conversation with kids and my wife a few times, and like it will happen one day. I don't think she's ready yet, and honestly, I don't think I'm just as ready yet. Maybe in about 2 years' time, we'll consider it then. I think now, in our careers and financially as well, like we could right now, but I don't think we're quite ready. And in our hearts, I don't think we're quite ready as yet. I mean, talk about that. I think like we did talk about, trying to move to somewhere else to get in a better school zone because the prices could be cheaper now. But then I thought, no, I don't think we're quite ready for that yet. Like I said before, a lot of people they always want the new thing now. They always want the new iPhone now, the new car now, the new house now. And I didn't want to be a hypocrite. I wanted to be in a much better financial position before I did. So I actually, what I told Amy was that I actually spent a few hours actually creating this graph, of my projections financially as of the current situation we are right now in 4 or 5 years' time. And I showed it to my wife, and she says, "Wow, you spent a lot of time on this, obviously." And I told her, if we're in this position, there is scenario A, B, C. If we did this or did this way, this way, and she was like, "Okay, cool." I think it bought me a bit of time to consider moving out of this place. We'll only buy a new place if there was a really good offer we can't refuse. But right now, I don't think because like I said, I don't want to be a hypocrite to do things now. I'll be going against what I preach, and being really impulsive in a way,
But isn't that okay to do sometimes? To be impulsive or to do something, that's outside of the plan. Is it possible for Jonni to sort of divert from the plan?
Actually, I'm very glad you did, because I do that sometimes. The last couple of weeks, I buy myself running shoes, and these are the Vaporflies. These are the probably the second fastest or the first fastest shoe in the world that's worn by marathoners. And these go out of stock within 24 hours, really, on the Nike website. And it's not cheap because they cost $345. But these shoes will last me 2 years because it's only 4 races. So yes, I do go out of the comfort zone sometimes, and I use the credit card to buy something. And this is an example. I do splurge, and not just once, but twice.
So, and guys, this is not a sponsored ad.
It's not a sponsored ad, yeah. I do because I justified it to myself because I know this was going to get me much faster times and things like that. And no shit, right? When I told you I did my 10K under 40 minutes.
Yeah, you mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah. 4 weeks prior to that, right, I did my 10K in 42.5 minutes, right? And I realized I was wearing quite heavy shoes at that time. It was the New Balance 880s, right? And then I wore these, right? And these took 2.5 minutes off my PB.
That's crazy, man.
No shit. Like, there's not a sponsored ad, but these do the trick. But that, a lot of top athletes, Kipchoge, the marathon world record, he will wear these as well. So I'm not doing anything wrong by investing in shoes that will help you go faster. It's because if you want a slight advantage, I think it's worth investing in these things.
Nice. I reckon I would need some shoes just to be able to I don't know, get me 10Ks in less than 2 hours or something. I'd be, man.
We can wake up these days when you move around here. Then I'll figure you out.
Yeah, that's true. We'll be neighbors in a couple of weeks. That'll be That'll be interesting, man.
That'll be fun. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Look, we've been going for an hour and 40 now. So maybe we should try and see if there is anyone out there who's got a couple of questions for Jonni. Just fire away. There's one thing you mentioned on your little spreadsheet here that I'm a bit curious about. So you mentioned something about you like to be mortgage free before you're 40.
Oh, yeah.
How is that? Because again, again with your organized mind and stuff. How is that planned?
Okay.
Like how do you plan for that? Because that's again, like, I suppose it could be if you got a couple of tips and tricks for people that would want to try and be a bit more organized with their finances or with their business, or if you're a band or something, if there's a way to achieve that goal, because that's a huge goal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just a disclaimer. I'm not a licensed financial advisor or such, but obviously you need to get run this by an advisor to make sure it works well for your situation. Just as a disclaimer over there.
Yep. There we go.
Okay. All right. So depends on how much you owe and what your rate of savings is. So I keep all my rates. Well, my home loan rate is a variable. It's because you can pay more off without any restrictions whatsoever. I'm not sure in other countries how they have on their offset accounts and everything, but that's just how it works in Australia. So the idea is to not just make your mortgage repayments, but just remember is that a lot of people are so curious about interest rate. Sometimes I find that it's more of an ego thing to getting the better interest rate than someone else, even though it's by 0.01%. But people tend to forget, right, that having the lowest interest rate will only really be a benefit, really, if you're planning to keep the loan for a long time, right? But the key is to pay off a loan is to, very simple, extra repayments, and putting more money offset account. So the strategy that my wife and I will have is that all your money goes into an offset account. So that already reduces the interest against your mortgage. So imagine this is your offset account and you got your mortgage. What do you have in here will offset account against here. So let's say you have a $500,000 mortgage and your loan is $200,000 and your offset account is $200,000. You're only paying interest on $300,000. So you try to build up your savings in your offset account as quick as possible at the same time you're paying it down. But in order to do that, you need to find out at what rate are you saving over here. So let's say if you're saving $3,000 a month, so that will mean $36,000 a year. In 10 years' time, you're saving, $360,000 in 10 years' time. In that time, obviously, you would have made some repayments on your mortgage and everything like that. So the idea is to put all the salary, all my salary into the offset account and just save really hard, but also cutting our expenses, which is the thing that people need to focus on. There are expenses people can control and people can't control. And believe it or not, the expenses you cannot control are bills, council rates, water rates, utilities. You've got utilities, yes, you can control, but you got to use it at the end of the day, right? So they come up for my credit card. I'll track them every now and then to make sure nothing extraordinary comes out. These are things they can't control, but the things you can control is what kills people. So that's why my wife and I create this method of we pay ourselves an allowance of $200 a week. So $200 goes into a bank account, personal bank account a week for her, and $200 comes from me. What she does with her money is totally up to her. She can go buy groceries. We take turns every week to buy groceries. So 1 week's her, 1 week's me. And with my $200 a week, right, I'm so harsh on myself is that I use that $200 to buy everything. I pay my running coach. I pay for my shoes. This shoe is on Afterpay. I'm not gonna lie. I use Afterpay, right?
Wow.
And yeah, Because I use Afterpay because like $200 a week, if I bought this $220 shoe, that's going to cost me a week's worth of allowances, right? But if I put an Afterpay and I paid over 2 months, it's totally fine because only 50 odd bucks comes out every 2 weeks, right, for these. And if I pay my coach, obviously money comes out to another bank account to pay him. It's all trackable, and like everything if you check out my bank accounts right now, where the money goes, you can see it goes to groceries and stuff like that. Every now, like this, on the other hand, right, I use my credit card, right? But I made a conscious effort to, out of my $200 allowance, to transfer back to the credit card to pay back my credit card over time. So whatever I use, like I will force myself to use my $200 allowance to pay back everything, because you don't want to create bad habits within yourself. Otherwise, you just keep doing it, and it will just ruin your entire. You have to be so disciplined with your money. You can splurge every now and then, like you want to go for a nice meal with your wife or whatnot, but whatever makes you happy. Like my wife and I don't really like going out for dinner in a nice restaurant. I'm pretty happy with noodles, to be honest. If like where we've been to in the past, like the Vietnamese place, like it costs $11-12, I would choose that over a 3-star Michelin any day. Like that, to me, that's happiness. And I remember going, like, eating at really cheap restaurants in Malaysia with my dad, eating lots of chili and the noodles. And that makes me more happy than getting my dad to dine in with Nobu or something like that. Because that's us, that's where we came from. That's my dad was more comfortable in that kind of situation, eating noodles with chili, and I'm more comfortable in that situation as well. If I go out to Malaysia, my uncles and aunties there, I said, look, please don't take me anywhere expensive. Just take me to anywhere that's local, and I just want to be with just local people doing local things. Don't take me anywhere. Don't need to show off with me. Just take me somewhere that you feel comfortable with, and somewhere cheap.
Yeah.
And,
that's also good, because obviously otherwise you blow out your allowance in one meal. so you can choose. So you can choose one dinner, or you can choose to have lunch for the whole week.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So anyway, back to so this strategy it's been in place for a number of years now. So I've had this house for about 5 years now. The way we're going, we'll probably pay off this house in 4 years' time.
Wow.
So it does help, I'll be honest, having double income, like having my income and my wife's income as well. It does,
and no kids.
No kids, yeah. It does really, really, really help. Let's say if we do have kids, it might set us back maybe about a year or so, but that's okay. Another year of paying is not too bad anyway. So anyway, that's my tip. You just have to really control what you can control, like bills. Just let it come out. Really limit yourself. If you have control over your finances, and you know what really makes you happy, like for me, staying at home, spending time with my wife. I love playing my video games in my off time. Wife gets a bit frustrated at me when I play my video games. But I've always played video games. I like the journey and the stories and things like that. I like watching shows, Game of Thrones, and they're learning things from like very interesting characters. These are things, because I'm introverted, and I regain energy by being alone by myself, or being with the people that really matter to me. And and that saves money too. That saves money. Then I've got control of my finances. If I go control my finances, then everything works in a whole circle in a way. And when I do have kids, and kids eventually pick up parents' habits, and I don't really want to go to a point where Um, like there's some things in my career that I see people, they lose control of their finances, and their kids run their whole lives. And I've seen doing an appointment. I've seen a little kid, right, come up to a parent and say, "Mum, money, please, now." And the mum will just come out take it from a purse, gives the ATM or credit card, whatever it was, gives it to the kid, and look, just buy whatever you want, just go. That's when you know you've lost control. It's because you are giving power to your child, which really they need your guidance. That has a massive effect on me, and I don't really want to come to that point. Like when I was growing up, my massive boundaries with my parents put on me, cannot drive their car, cannot touch their car under any circumstances, will not be able to go near the driver's seat, will not be able to go in their room. Their money is their money. You don't take anyone else's money. I would never ever touch my dad's wallet. My dad will always leave his wallet in the bathroom, and I will be petrified at the thought of going to have a look at it. I will never. My brother and sister will be the same as well. They'll be petrified because it just breaks that level of trust. It's like we have that respect for my parents. There's certain places you do not go. Like my brother had his comics. I love going in there without him knowing, but that's a different story. But let's say people's money, what people have done to work so hard for, that is somewhere you do not touch. And when I have kids one day, I'll set the same boundaries, and I don't care.
I'm sure.
I don't care if, let's say, their friends' parents will say, look, my dad will give me his credit card, but I do not care. You're not going to follow those habits because you're under my roof. I'm saying like my parents. You're under my roof. It's under my rules. You take it or leave it.
Yeah. Of course.
So I think it does come from a very strong, strong moral upbringing. And my sister as well. I remember when I was 18, I was so adamant to get a car loan to buy, Nissan or something. I don't want those crazy Japanese car. And she looked at me and said, "Look, you do know how hard it is to save money to buy a house. You do know how hard it is for people to earn money these days. Like, you should think about it carefully. Is because mom and dad don't want you to get a nice car because they don't love you. They're just looking out for you." And that kind of sparked on me a little bit. And I was very, very grateful my sister for telling me that. And so I was very lucky to have all these mentors around my family to tell me how to control my money. And at the same time, being in the industry as well, dealing with people's money, you learn people's mistakes. You pick up the great habits that a lot of people have done, and you just bundle everything into one, and you try to make the perfect strategy for yourself, And yes, I've taught people these strategies before, and a lot of people love it. They don't follow it as straight and narrow as I do, but everybody goes through their own journey, I guess.
For sure, but again, like it's always good to have some sort of framework, like something to follow. Whether you do follow it or not, or how strict you are on it, is obviously going to vary from person to person. But it's like that with anything, isn't it? If you follow a specific diet, you're still going to have cheat days. So,
one of the reasons why I love running. Sounds really bad, but you can eat whatever you like and you still won't get fat. And that's one of the perks of running almost every day.
So how often do you run?
6 days a week, Tuesdays to Sundays, and Monday off. That is nuts,
man. That is nuts.
just becomes habit, and like there's apart from today's probably the latest day I'll end up sleeping in about 6 months. um, I don't know. I can't imagine. Even on every Monday when I don't run, it feels weird. I have to waking up at 5 o'clock every morning. I was like, okay, I gotta do something now. Today, maybe not.
But you gotta have some rest too, man. Like you need to, yeah. So
yeah, but I tell you one thing, like during progressing when you're trying to get better at running, I've done my own research and my coach has told me this as well. You need to learn how to run tired. Like let's say you got a 80, 90K a week you got to do middle of the week, right? Or let's say it comes to Friday or Saturday, you're absolutely buggered. And on the Sunday, you got some 20, 22K run to do. And you're so tired in your mind, right? But what I was reading is like your body is adapting to the amount of mileage you're trying to do. That's why it becomes faster. It adapts to your lungs and everything like that. And in a marathon, right? Even the best marathoners in the world, like Kipchoge included, it's not like they're not running tired. They're not running full speed the whole way. They get tired. They get very tired, But it's the mental strength you build in your head and the strategies that you create in your head that will compel you to keep going. So, like Kipchoge is a very good example. He's so mentally strong. He looks like a bullet when he runs, and he enjoys teamwork as well. Like one thing that keeps him going, that the team he has around him that will help train with him. So. Like, for me, it's habit, but I keep myself entertained in my training. I'm on a podcast on the long runs. I'm on the music on my faster runs. I have very strange music I listen to when I run, by the way. I listen to Asian music, strangely enough. I have no idea what they're saying sometimes.
Fantastic, because that was actually one of my last questions was to find out what you're actually listening to when you're running. So so great to bring that up.
Yeah, it's not always Asian music, but one of the songs I have to admit I do listen to is probably the most popular band in the world called BTS. You may have heard of BTS. The Korean, the K-pop, bonanza is absolutely insane. There's this one song that they have called Forever Young, and it's probably the only song I like from these guys, but it's probably a song that has a very profound effect on me, is because when I listen to it, it makes me think when I was young, I was lost, but at the same time I found myself again. Another song I listen to, I don't know, like couple of John Wick theme songs, where he's in the. You ever seen the scene where he's in the club and he's shooting people, and there's this the John Wick thing that comes up.
Yeah.
When I'm running, I'm imagining, and maybe I'm going to a nightclub and shooting. And I'm imagining in that zone, but it's very motivating to keep going. What's my playlist over here? I actually do have.
Yeah, I was about to say, run us through your playlist, because if you're listening to a lot of Korean stuff or Asian stuff, like that is so different to anything else that I've been talking.
This is a great one, actually. Eminem. I got to watch Eminem song, "Lose Yourself." That's a very motivating song. Come on, his arms are heavy, knees big, arms are heavy. Like. But
that's a very sort of slow-paced song. Like I'm sure. Surely your strides, like when you're running, your strides would be a lot faster than the beat of the song. I mean, obviously we all operate in different ways, but usually here a lot of people, when they are exercising, they want something a bit more fast paced to sort of push them forward.
For me, it's how the song made me feel when I first listened to it that has a profound effect on me to keep going fast. The song. Lose Yourself to me was because I've like Eminem in the movie 8 Mile. He's gone through a lot of racism against him, like me being a white guy and doing rap in that kind of neighborhood is a pretty hard place to do it.
Yep.
He overcomes obstacles, but that to me, it resonated with me is because I went through a bit of racism as well in my life. For him to overcome those obstacles and have a song like that to kind of like just keep going, you can keep going, but you just have to lose yourself in the moment. That's why when I'm running, I get to lose myself in that moment, to prove people wrong. That's why it resonated with me then. I've got a Van Halen song here, Dreams. I first heard that song when I was actually it was I used to be a big fan of Power Rangers, believe it or not, and Power Rangers had a movie, Power Rangers movie, and Van Halen. One of the main theme songs was this song by Van Halen called Dreams. And because the song keeps saying that you're going higher and higher and higher. For me, it was because that song got me going when I was a kid. So when I listened to that song, it made me feel like a kid, getting going. It's like, yeah, okay, this is good, The John Wick themes, it makes me imagine myself in the moment. Your adrenaline's rushing. You need to get out and get a job done as you're running fast. There's a song that I heard. It's by this band called Ilium, and the song's called Riverie. I don't know how to describe the song, but I watched this video once by I forgot what that YouTuber is called, but he makes great videos about his full years. He makes a lot of travel videos, and he played this song, and I think he's got some deal with them or something like that. And I love the song so much because it made me imagine that it made me feel so inspired, that song.
Well, that's what music does. Like again, when you have music, like generally music does sort of, amplify emotions or bring you back even. Like I'm sure there'd be certain songs that would instantly remind you of certain life events and different feelings. Again, like you mentioned, like for instance, like Lose Yourself instantly takes you back to the whole racism. It empowers you because you can resonate with the lyrics and all that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It was so funny. When I was a kid, I love. Like I thought, I could, try to play the guitar and stuff like that. I was never really that good, but I liked listening to music, but I had always had a very different taste in music to anyone else that I knew in my life. Like, I was listening to the Beatles when I was 6 or 7 years old, and I was really enjoying the Beatles. And when I'm in Malaysia and everybody's just speaking Chinese, right? Imagine trying to mention the Beatles to them. They had no idea what I was talking about.
Really?
Yeah, they had no idea. Like when I was out in Malaysia, right? I had problems fitting in my whole life, really. When I was in Malaysia, I went to I didn't go to a Malay or English school. I went to a Chinese school, and I was speaking English at home. I felt very out of place. Anyway, I was listening to the Beatles. I went to church groups on the weekend, and like everybody's listening to Backstreet Boys, or they're listening to 90s music or something, Air Supply. Air Supply is pretty good, I give it that. Michael Owns the Rock. Okay, that one was probably.
Hey.
They were the only band I could really resonate with, right? But I like the Beatles and doing weddings and stuff like that, and people will sing the Beatles. People will sing Michael Owns the Rock, but now I'll crack out this 1960s Beatles song, and people just look at me, why is this kid singing this Beatles song, And because I liked it, when they were singing Hard Day's Night, I was like, okay, my dad likes this, so I like this too, Then when I came to when I went to high school and stuff like that, I liked Robbie Williams, and I told some of my friends, oh, Robbie Williams is cool, and man, I got dissed hard, man. Like, it's like, Robbie Williams, are you kidding me? Oh, like because they were into the heavy metal, Metallica and stuff like that. I tried listening to that stuff, you know. Yeah, it was good. I liked a bit of Metallica. They had a massive influence, but it wasn't really resonating with me. So yeah, no, that was an album that I really liked by the way. So.
But so what was it that you really liked about the Beatles and Michael Learns to Rock and some of that stuff? Because again, you know, if you didn't sort of follow the trend of music, then how did you find the other music?
To be honest, like I was like I like the Beatles because my dad liked the Beatles.
Okay.
You know? And
that's a culture thing, sort of got brought or traditional thing because your parents were listening to it.
Oh yeah, and I asked my dad. My dad really liked it too, and he was crazy about the Beatles. He was a really big fan of John Lennon. So that's the reason why I like that. But the music that I like, because in those days in Malaysia, right? I'm not sure about much about Asian music, but the top music, right, in the country is always a love song, and like I'm not sure it's in their culture or not, but like do you know movie stars in Asia and like singers and stuff like that? Some of them who get married, but they don't reveal to the public that they're actually married, and the reason why they do that, right, is because a lot of women and maybe some men, well, men as well actually, they would fall in love so much with these movie stars and singers, right, that if they found out they were married, their popularity would just go gone.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was so weird because like there's this one probably he's like the Tom Cruise of Asia, right? His name's Andy Lau, and really famous. He's been around for 30, 40 years, you know, and nobody knew this guy was married. This guy was married like about 20 odd years ago to a Malaysian Chinese girl. He's got 2 kids, and he only came out maybe about 10 odd years ago or something like that. He was married. And I think because his fame, he was getting older now, I think he was okay to release it. But had he revealed he was married before, because people in China and Hong Kong were so in love with this guy, right? I think I read this story that there was this girl who was so obsessed with Andy Lau, who was living in China. Her parents had to sell their own house, right, to move or go to Hong Kong just to meet Andy Lau. It was something crazy. I hear stories about these movie stars, that the fantasy world that they have to live in, the fantasy love story and everything like that. And when I used to hang out with Chinese people who go to karaoke, and they love singing love songs. Jesus. Anyway, that's probably why
that's mental.
Yeah, it was quite mental. That's probably why I quite like all these love songs like Air Supply or Michael Learns to Rock. I kind of had to bottle it all in, all these, what I liked when I was in school and stuff, because I was being afraid I'll be made fun of in many ways. So I couldn't really talk music with a lot of people, I couldn't really express myself, So.
Have you ever played an instrument? Have you ever tried to express yourself through music?
Yeah, I played the guitar. However, it was my dad's guitar, and my dad, when I was about 20, 21, when I moved out of home, and mum and dad moved to UK, my dad brought the guitar with him, and I didn't have the guitar to play anymore, so didn't really have something to strum and everything like that anymore. So I played the piano when I was a kid, but I wasn't really interested in it. I think if they got me doing guitar lessons, I would have kept to it.
It's never too late, buddy. Put it on Afterpay.
Yeah, I think I want to serenade my wife.
Interesting, man. Interesting.
Yeah, it was I don't know. It's like I think it's one of the things that I wish that I could invest on in the past to buy a guitar. It wouldn't cost me very much, maybe about $200-300 or something about to buy myself an acoustic guitar, a decent one. And I think that would have.
Dude, you can buy them on Gumtree for like $50. There'd be people that would be happily give one to you. You can probably trade it. You can probably trade an old guitar for a good pair of running shoes or something. So do a good spot there.
Oh gosh. No.
It's never too late, man.
Yeah. Oh, maybe one day. Yeah.
You gotta hit you gotta break the Malaysian marathon record first, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think and have a couple of kids, and you can get the kids to play guitar and play and play piano. Get them to start a band.
Yeah. Talk about kids, right? You think, have you noticed people having kids this year? A lot of people having boys. Is it just me or
dude, there's 50% chance. It's like, I love, actually, it's so funny because I love people when they're saying, we're pregnant again. So we're trying for a boy. We're trying for a girl this time. It's like, it cracks me up every time. It's like, well, you got 50% shot every time. Like it's not that you can try for one. Like it's gonna be an even shot every time.
No, I've got my sister and Amy's got a couple of cousins this year who are having kids at pretty much the same time. They're all boys. I think there's about 4 or 5 of them, and they're all boys. I'm not sure if it's
coincidence. It's coincidence, man. It's got definitely nothing to do with the way the wind blows or the time of year or anything. It
was funny because about 2 years ago, in the space of 3 months, I had a cousin and 2 friends, 3 boys, and coincidentally, right, all called their boys the same name, Asher, and Asher. I'm thinking, is it really Asher or something like that?
Yeah, that is definitely 100% coincidental.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So, anyway, dude, we've been talking for nearly 2.5 hours now, man. It's
what?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I suppose you have to go to bed and get up early in the morning and do a 5 a.m. run.
I've got a group run tomorrow, so thinking about to get to bed. I think I might be in bed by now.
Nice, man. Yeah. But Jonni, man, it's been crazy, man. Some crazy stories. I particularly loved the one about how you had to you saw that shaman and you had to say goodbye to your mom and you fixed your back. That's insane, man. that really blew my mind.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't think about it until the moment. Actually, I thought about I need to tell you the story. About 5 minutes before you called me, I was like, okay, what can I do? I literally wrote a timeline of my 32 years of my life and the things that happened and stuff like that. And like what related to what. And and like one of the things was that SI joint issue that was a huge thing for me that I had to share. Like I've only told a handful of people about the way because I know it was so crazy. And I'm a realist and I don't like to believe things that that's a bit of too much doubt in it, but this was insane.
That is insane. Yeah, it's good. It's a great story though. It's a great story.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to know more, please I'll let you know. I'll let you know who this guy is because he is contactable in this day. So he's on your phone call with me. Yeah.
Speaking about, just on a final note, if people want to sort of follow you, where's the best platform to head over to? Because I know you're very active on Instagram. Is there any like where's the main platform if people want to sort of follow up on your running?
My Instagram, obviously, I've got Strava as well. My Instagram is One Run Experience, so 1 Run RUN Experience.
You changed that. Oh, I think I've got the 1 ton experience on here, but
yeah, sorry. I've changed that. It's because like I just, yeah, it just like the reason why I like 1 ton is because it was a joke someone said to me once. Hey Johnny, what's a soup that's cold that weighs 1,000 kilos? 1 ton soup. I thought that was quite funny. I thought, okay, if there was a funny experience, I'll make it a funny experience, a 1 ton experience. So that's how it came about. But I thought, okay, I think I'm kind of growing up now. I think I want to take life a little bit more seriously. I think my life really revolves a lot about my running. So I'm just going to call it one run experience right now. So that's hence the reason why I've changed the name on there. People can, obviously on Facebook as Jonni Chin, Jonni. And I'm on Strava as well. If anybody's on Strava, to check out my workouts, what I've been doing and stuff like that. I do post on there every workout that I do. It's quite easy because it goes straight from the watch anyway. So these are the platforms like people can see what I get up to, and it's I'm pretty active on those spaces. Yeah, I probably don't post as much as I should on Instagram, but I think I'll start it back up again. Yeah.
Good, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
and if they wanna sort of reach out to you and get some financial support, I'm sure they can contact you through these platforms as well.
Yeah, I think obviously you see my personal Facebook page. You can send me a message. People can't do that all the time as well. If send me a friend request and stuff like that, then definitely get in touch. Yeah, that's my that's my bread and butter at One Finance. So no one's a stranger to me.
Fantastic, Johnny, man. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for your time, man.
I was thinking about this all week, so I had to make this good.
Yeah, good, man. No, it was good, and again, like some very unique stories, man. That's excellent.
Yeah.
So we
catch up for noodles.
What? Sorry.
Catch up for noodles soon.
Absolutely, man, and a short run.
Okay. No
slow run. I don't have those fancy fast shoes as you do, man. So, but that's probably a good reason for that. Johnny, we got to finish off. I promised to put on this little video that sort of showcases your broker career. That was the one you were sort of talking about earlier. Could you just want to do like just a little quick sum up about how this video and how it came about?
Yeah, I want to make a bit of a part comedy thing, and if you watch the first minute or so, that you see, I wonder where this is going. But then after that, it goes on to it. The idea is like I had a hard time when I started off as a mortgage broker, and I wanted to kind of like tell other mortgage brokers that I know you go through these periods, but once you get over it, things will get better. And I got a lot of great feedback from this from mortgage brokers. So yeah, and hopefully you enjoy it.
Awesome. I'm gonna put it on now. And Johnny, man, it's been a pleasure. Take it easy.
No, take it easy, man. Thanks so much.
Get a good night's sleep, and have a good run tomorrow.
You too,
and I'll put on our little broker video now.
Okay, you too, man. Take care, man.
Cheers, Johnny.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in or listening along to the show. If you like the show, please don't forget to leave a 5-star review and subscribe to my social channels. It doesn't cost you anything, but it greatly helps me to build my networks and my chances of getting sponsors to keep this show running. If you want to take it to the next level, please head over to patreon.com/Stephen Helhammer and become a patron by joining the exclusive community there. You can start from as little as $3 per month. And for just a little extra, you get access to some fantastic features, outtakes, behind the scenes stuff, and much, much more. That's less than the cost of a cup of coffee per month. And that way you can help me build better content. I can devote more time to find awesome guests and just generally just keep everything flowing. If you want to be on the show or subscribe to my mailing list, send an email to Stephen@helhammer.com, and that is HELHAMMER. helhammer.com. That way I can start sending you exclusive invites, random stuff, and messages that, who knows, you might enjoy. So that's it. Have a rocking day ahead, guys, and I will see you on the live stream or in your headphones very soon. Take it easy.